The desert was quiet. Almost too quiet. The sun hung low in the sky, painting the sand in shades of orange and gold. Lena Carter adjusted her wide-brimmed hat and squinted against the glare. She had driven hours on her own, guided only by a strange signal her equipment had picked up at the research station. For years, Lena had dreamed of discovering something extraordinary. She had always believed humans were not alone in the universe. Now, standing in the middle of the empty desert, with her scientific instruments humming, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The signal was strong here. Stronger than anywhere else on Earth. And it wasn't coming from a satellite or any known spacecraft. Then she saw it. A small crater glimmered with silver fragments. Smoke curled gently from the center. Lena's heart raced. She ran toward it, kicking sand and leaving footprints behind her. As she approached, she saw the wreckage. It wasn't a typical spacecraft. The metal was smooth and reflective, shaped in curves that seemed to glow faintly. It had clearly been through a crash, but it wasn't broken beyond recognition. Then she heard a sound, a soft, melodic hum. Lena froze. The hum grew louder, almost like a voice, but it wasn't words. It felt alive. Her scientific mind told her to be cautious. Her heart told her to look closer. From the wreckage, a figure emerged. Lena gasped. It was small, no taller than a human child. But its presence was enormous. Its body shimmered like liquid silver under the sun, and its eyes glowed with a gentle blue light. It moved gracefully, without making a sound, as if it floated rather than walked. Lena felt a strange warmth in her chest, as though the being was aware of her presence and welcomed it. She held up her hands slowly, showing she meant no harm. "Hello," she said softly, though she had no idea if it would understand. The being tilted its head and the glowing eyes focused on her. Then it did something extraordinary. It mirrored her movements. When she raised her hand, it raised its own. When she crouched to examine a piece of debris, it crouched too. Lena realized it was trying to communicate, not with words, but through actions. This is incredible," she whispered to herself. Her mind raced. Could it be an alien? Something no human had ever seen? Her scientific instincts pushed her to study it, but she also felt an unusual sense of trust. Lena slowly approached. The being stepped back at first, but then it extended one of its delicate hands. Tentatively, Lena reached out and touched it. The moment their skin, if it could even be called that, made contact, she felt a rush of understanding. Images flashed in her mind. Stars, planets, and a distant world filled with light and life. She realized it was trying to show her where it came from. The desert seemed to disappear. Lena saw visions of a place far beyond the solar system, where intelligent life thrived. But they were aware that some civilizations were not peaceful. She felt the urgency of its mission. It had traveled across the galaxy and landed on Earth for a reason, and somehow, she understood it wanted to protect her world. "Kale," the being said, in a soft voice that resonated in her mind rather than her ears. The name was a gift of understanding, a connection that bypassed language. Before Lena could respond, the distant roar of engines broke the silence. Dust swirled around her as a helicopter appeared over the horizon. Military markings were faint but unmistakable. Lena's heart sank. She knew what this meant. Governments had been tracking the signal too, and they would not see Kale as a friend. They would see it as a weapon. Kale stepped closer to Lena, its form pulsating with a calming light. Lena quickly grabbed a small cloth and draped it over Kale, trying to hide it from view. She knew she had to act fast. The helicopter landed a few meters away, and soldiers poured out, scanning the desert with weapons ready. "Step away from the crash site," a voice commanded. Lena raised her hands, showing she meant no harm. "I'm a scientist. Please, don't hurt it." The soldiers hesitated, but their training made them cautious. One of them approached, but Kale suddenly emitted a soft glow. The light expanded into a gentle wave that pushed the soldiers back without harming them. It was a warning, not an attack. Lena felt a thrill of awe. This being, fragile in appearance, was far more powerful than anyone could imagine. She grabbed Kale's hand and pulled it behind a sand dune. "We need to hide." "Quickly," she whispered. Kale followed obediently, its glow dimming as they moved. They reached a small depression in the sand, hidden from the military's view. Lena could hear the soldiers shouting, calling for reinforcements. They were relentless. Lena's mind raced. She needed to get Kale to safety. She remembered the old abandoned research facility she had passed earlier in the desert. It was far enough from the main road, isolated, and she knew it would provide some cover. "Can you move fast?" she asked Kale. It nodded, a small wave of its hand showing understanding. They ran, Kale's feet barely touching the sand, its form glowing faintly to guide them through the desert. Lena struggled to keep up, but determination drove her forward. They finally reached the facility, a decaying building surrounded by broken fences and overgrown weeds. Inside, Lena lit a small lantern. Kale's form shimmered softly in the warm light. Lena studied it carefully. Its body was flexible, almost liquid in appearance, but its eyes held intelligence that rivaled any human. She realized that Kale wasn't just an alien, it was a companion, a protector, and perhaps humanity's chance to prove itself to the universe. Kale reached out again, and this time Lena felt another rush of images. Flashes of warships approaching Earth, cities in chaos, and humans struggling to defend themselves. Lena's stomach tightened. She understood the urgency. Kale had chosen her, and perhaps all of humanity, to help face an impending threat. "We have to prepare," Lena said aloud, more to herself than to Kale. "We can't let anyone capture you. Not now. Not ever." Kale responded with a soft hum that vibrated in her chest. As if agreeing, the night fell, and Lena watched the stars from the broken roof of the facility. She felt a connection she had never known before. Somewhere out there, among the countless stars, Kale's people were watching, and somewhere among those stars, humans had the chance to show courage, creativity, and the strength of their spirit. For Lena, the journey had just begun. The alien companion beside her was not just a mystery. It was a promise that humanity had a role to play in the greater universe, and that perhaps, together, they could face whatever challenges the cosmos had in store. The desert wind whispered through the broken windows, carrying the sound of the distant military search. Lena clenched her fists. Tomorrow, they would need a plan. But tonight, she allowed herself a single thought. Humanity had been chosen, and she would not let Earth fail. Kale shimmered beside her, its blue eyes reflecting the starlight. And for the first time, Lena felt the weight of destiny, not just hers, but humanity's. Somewhere among the stars, they were being watched, and someone, or something, had faith in them. The journey was beginning, and Lena knew that the days ahead would test every limit of courage, intelligence, and heart. But as she looked at Kale, glowing softly in the dark, she smiled. For the first time in her life, she felt certain that humans were not just survivors. They were heroes, waiting to be awakened, and the stars were watching. The desert night was calm, but Lena could feel the tension in the air. She sat cross-legged on the dusty floor of the abandoned facility, Kale's soft glow illuminating the room. Outside, the wind swept over the sand dunes, whispering like a warning. Lena had no illusions. Military search teams were still combing the desert for the mysterious crash site. Kale hovered near her, watching as she unpacked her small kit. Lena had brought food, water, and basic equipment. But most importantly, she had brought a notebook and a portable computer. She needed to understand Kale, and she needed Kale to understand her. "You understand me, don't you?" Lena asked softly. Kale responded with a gentle hum, its body pulsing with soft blue light. Lena smiled. It wasn't words, but it was communication, a shared understanding between two very different beings. Over the next few days, Lena worked carefully to learn more about Kale. She tested simple experiments moving objects, creating light patterns, playing sounds. Kale responded to each one, showing remarkable intelligence and adaptability. It was not only capable of understanding human actions, but also predicting them. Lena marveled at Kale's abilities. It could manipulate small objects with precise energy bursts, almost like telekinesis. It could heal minor injuries, closing cuts and scratches on Lena's hands as she worked. It learned quickly, imitating human actions and even showing subtle signs of curiosity. Every movement, every glance, suggested intelligence far beyond Earth's species. But Kale was more than just powerful. Lena noticed something extraordinary. It seemed genuinely fascinated by humans. It would watch her laugh at a joke she made in the notebook, or observe her hands as she scribbled notes. It tilted its head in what Lena imagined was thoughtfulness, as if studying not just her actions but her mind. "You really like us, don't you?" Lena whispered one evening. Kale's hum grew warmer. A wave of light passing over Lena, as if answering yes. For the first time, Lena felt a deep bond forming not just as a scientist studying an alien, but as a friend, a partner, and perhaps even a guardian. Lena also noticed that Kale reacted to her emotions. When she felt fear or doubt, Kale's glow would brighten, as though giving her strength. When she laughed or felt joy, it seemed to shimmer in happiness. Lena realized that Kale had not just come to Earth by chance, it had chosen to be near humans, and perhaps it believed that humanity was capable of extraordinary things. One morning, while Lena was preparing a small meal, a new vision came from Kale. Images flashed in her mind. A fleet of alien ships moving silently through space, approaching Earth with incredible speed. Lena's heart tightened. The visions were not vague, they were precise. Cities, oceans, forests, all under threat. She looked at Kale, feeling both fear and trust. Kale extended a hand, and Lena felt the message clearly. It was here to help, but it could not act alone. Humanity had to rise, to prove itself. Kale had chosen her as a guide, a communicator, and perhaps a leader. Lena swallowed hard. The responsibility was immense, but she felt a strange sense of confidence. With Kale, humans might stand a chance. Over the next few days, Lena worked to teach Kale about Earth's people, its culture, and its conflicts. She showed it maps, technology diagrams, and even videos of human life. Kale absorbed everything quickly, often asking questions without words, merely through gestures and flashes of light. It was learning not only facts but also human nature, the unpredictability, creativity, and courage that made people unique. At night, Lena would sit with Kale on the roof of the facility, looking at the stars. The desert stretched endlessly around them, silent except for the occasional wind. Lena often spoke to Kale about her life, her dreams, and her fears. Kale responded with images, lights, and subtle motions, conveying empathy in a way that transcended language. "You're more than I imagined," Lena said softly one night. "I thought you would just be powerful, maybe even frightening. But you care." Kale glowed brighter. As if smiling, it hovered close, its light wrapping around Lena like a protective blanket. In that moment, Lena felt that humans and Kale were connected, not just by circumstance, but by choice. However, their peace was fragile. The distant hum of military vehicles occasionally reached them, and Lena knew they could not stay hidden forever. She devised a plan to move Kale safely to a more secure location, somewhere deeper in the desert, where they could work without fear. The facility was temporary. Their real work was only beginning. Before leaving, Lena experimented with communication. She created a simple system of symbols and lights, assigning meanings to basic concepts: danger, safety, yes, no. Kale adapted quickly, responding with lights and gentle pulses. The alien was learning human language in a way Lena could understand, bridging a gap that once seemed impossible. During these sessions, Lena discovered something remarkable. Kale was not only intelligent, but deeply moral. It reacted to images of humans helping each other, showing admiration through brighter, warmer glows. When Lena showed footage of humans harming one another, Kale's light dimmed, almost mournful. Lena realized that Kale's understanding of humanity went beyond strategy. It saw the potential for greatness, as well as the risk of destruction. This understanding gave Lena hope. If Kale believed in humanity, perhaps humans could live up to that faith. She thought about the approaching alien fleet, and how ordinary people would react. The world might panic, governments might fight each other first, but with Kale's guidance and humanity's ingenuity, they could stand united. When they finally moved deeper into the desert, Lena and Kale discovered a natural cave system. It was hidden from view, and the temperatures were cooler than the desert surface. Lena set up her equipment, creating a small base where they could work in secret. Kale adapted to the environment easily, exploring every corner with curiosity and care. "You're amazing," Lena said, watching Kale examine a mineral deposit in the cave. Kale's glow reflected on the walls, casting strange, beautiful patterns. Lena knew she had only scratched the surface of its abilities. This companion, this alien, could change the course of human history, but only if humans proved themselves worthy. Over the following week, Lena tested Kale's capabilities further. It could generate energy fields, manipulate objects remotely, and even simulate complex calculations faster than any computer on Earth. But more importantly, it could teach. Lena realized that with Kale's help, humans could not only defend themselves, they could innovate in ways previously unimaginable. Kale's presence also brought a sense of calm to Lena. She was not alone in her mission anymore. She felt a partnership forming, built on trust and mutual respect. In Kale, she saw a reflection of what humanity could aspire to be: brave, compassionate, and capable of incredible achievement. One evening, Lena and Kale watched the horizon as the sun dipped below the dunes. Lena felt a sense of purpose she had never known before. "We have work to do," she whispered. Kale's glow pulsed in agreement. It was not just about survival, it was about proving humanity's worth, showing the universe that Earth could rise to challenges with courage and ingenuity. The stars above seemed closer than ever, twinkling with silent encouragement. Lena knew the journey ahead would be dangerous. The alien fleet was still approaching, and time was running out. But with Kale at her side, she felt ready to face whatever came. Humanity had been chosen, not by chance, but by the recognition of their potential. And Lena would make sure they did not fail. As they prepared for the days ahead, Lena allowed herself a quiet smile. Kale hovered beside her, a glowing companion, whose wisdom and power were matched only by its trust in humans. Together, they would face the unknown. Together, they would prove that humanity was more than just survivors, they were capable of greatness. And somewhere among the stars, Lena knew, their actions were already being watched. Kale had come not only as a protector, but as a witness. The universe had chosen to notice humanity, and Lena would not let that faith go unfulfilled. For now, they were hidden in the desert cave, safe from prying eyes. But the time for hiding was ending. The bond between human and alien was growing stronger, and soon, Lena and Kale would face the ultimate test. A challenge that would demand courage, intelligence, and the very best of what humanity could offer. The desert was quiet again, but Lena could feel the pulse of destiny in the air. With Kale's guidance and humanity's courage, she knew they had a chance. The bond was formed, the mission clear. Together, human and alien would rise to meet the challenge of the stars. The sky above Earth was no longer the familiar blue of daytime or the comforting black of night. A strange, metallic shimmer hung over the horizon, reflecting sunlight in sharp flashes that made cities below squint in alarm. Lena stood at the edge of a desert plateau, Kale hovering beside her, glowing softly like a beacon. They could see the alien fleet now, approaching in formation, a silent wave of ships moving faster than any human aircraft. "Kale," Lena said, her voice steady despite the fear creeping into her chest. "We need a plan. They're too strong to fight directly. We'll have to be smarter than them." Kale pulsed warmly, a sign of agreement. Lena took a deep breath. Humanity had always relied on courage, resourcefulness, and creativity. Now, those traits would be tested like never before. The first reports came in via satellite feeds. Cities around the world were on high alert. People were evacuating. Governments were scrambling. And panic simmered beneath the surface. But Lena saw an opportunity. The alien ships were advanced, yes, but they were predictable in one way: they expected force. They did not anticipate ingenuity, creativity, or teamwork. And humans, she knew, had these qualities in abundance. Lena and Kale began immediately. Kale could generate energy barriers, manipulate objects remotely, and disrupt mechanical systems. But Lena realized that victory would rely on human thinking as much as alien power. Using maps, satellite data, and her own knowledge of engineering, she began to devise a strategy. "We need diversions," Lena said, sketching on her tablet. "We can't fight them head-on. But if we can confuse them, slow them down, and protect the cities, we might just survive." Kale extended a hand, and energy flowed from its fingertips, creating a glowing holographic map in midair. Lena pointed to key locations, bridges, communication towers, and power stations, and Kale's energy traced paths for clever, non-lethal traps. Their plan relied on human unpredictability. Kale could shield and disrupt, but humans would improvise. Lena recruited a small team of engineers and volunteers who were willing to risk everything to protect their world. Together, they prepared devices that emitted electromagnetic pulses, camouflage decoys, and other creative solutions. Lena marveled at how quickly people adapted, thinking of solutions she herself would never have imagined. As night fell, the first alien ships reached Earth's atmosphere. The sky lit up with flashes of energy, and a low hum vibrated through the air. Lena and Kale moved from one defensive position to another, coordinating efforts and observing how humans reacted under pressure. Civilians and volunteers followed instructions, moving in calculated patterns, laying traps, and protecting key locations. The aliens struck first at the northern cities. Lena watched satellite feeds showing massive ships descending, but instead of panic, she saw coordinated human action. EMP devices disabled the alien ships' communication briefly, energy shields created by Kale absorbed attacks, and clever diversions forced the aliens to miscalculate their movements. Lena's heart swelled with pride. Humanity was rising to the challenge. "Look at them," Lena whispered to Kale. "They're smart, brave, creative." Kale glowed brighter, a wave of warmth passing over Lena as if sharing her pride. The alien ships, advanced though they were confused by unpredictability. A trait humans had used for millennia, in war, in exploration, and in survival. Hours passed, and the battle shifted closer to Lena's region. A massive alien warship descended toward the city, near her desert plateau. Lena and Kale knew this would be their most dangerous test. Civilians were evacuating, but the threat was immense. Lena clenched her fists. Fear was natural, but courage required action. She turned to Kale. "This is it," she said. "We'll protect them. We'll show them that humans are worth fighting for." Kale pulsed in agreement, its energy forming a glowing protective field around Lena as she moved toward the city. Lena's team worked tirelessly. Using Kale's abilities combined with human ingenuity, they set traps and diversions. Decoy energy signals led alien ships away from populated areas. EMP bursts temporarily disabled weapons systems. Lena personally guided volunteers, ensuring that the devices were deployed at the right moments. The alien warship broke through defenses and headed straight for the city center. Lena's heart pounded. Civilians were still in danger. She knew that Kale could stop it with raw power, but she wanted the aliens to understand humanity's worth, not just through force, but through ingenuity, compassion, and bravery. "Kale, we do this together," she whispered. The alien companion glowed brightly, extending its hands. Energy formed a barrier around the city, absorbing the brunt of the attack. Meanwhile, Lena and her team activated a series of cleverly positioned devices. Energy pulses bounced unpredictably off buildings and terrain, confusing the alien ship's targeting systems. The city remained intact, and the alien ship faltered, unable to adjust to the unexpected strategies. Lena's team cheered quietly, but she knew the danger wasn't over. The alien fleet was vast, and they would adapt. But Lina also knew something remarkable: humans could rise to challenges in ways that even advanced aliens could not anticipate. Then came the final test. The alien ship focused on the plateau where Lina and Kale were stationed. Lina realized it would require personal courage to protect everyone else. Without hesitation, she moved forward, positioning herself between the ship's energy beam and a nearby evacuation route. Kale pulsed intensely, forming a protective shield around her, but it was Lina's bravery and quick thinking that would make the difference. Using signals and energy pulses, Lina coordinated with her team to create a complex pattern of interference. The alien ship's weapons misfired, its systems unable to adapt to the combined human and Kale strategies. Lina felt adrenaline rush through her veins. She was terrified, but she did not stop. Every choice, every action, relied on trust, ingenuity, and courage, the qualities that defined humanity. At last, the alien ship faltered completely. Its systems shut down temporarily, giving Lina and her team the opening to guide it back into space, away from the city. Kale emitted a brilliant wave of energy, sealing the alien ship's path and ensuring it could not return immediately. Humans and alien worked together seamlessly, a combination of strength, intelligence, and moral courage. Lina sank to the ground, exhausted but exhilarated. Around her, volunteers and engineers cheered, their faces glowing with pride. Civilians were safe. Cities had survived. And above all, humanity had proven something remarkable. Its courage and creativity could stand even against the star's most advanced adversaries. Kale hovered beside her, glowing softly. Lina reached out, and their hands met. A wave of understanding passed between them. Kale's respect for humanity was evident not because humans were the strongest or fastest, but because they were resourceful, brave, and willing to act for others. "You did it," Kale's energy whispered in her mind. "Humans, you are remarkable." Lina smiled, a sense of pride and relief washing over her. The night was calm once more. The alien fleet had retreated, at least for now, but Lina knew this was not the end. Earth had survived its first encounter with an advanced civilization, not through weapons or dominance, but through ingenuity, bravery, and moral strength. Humanity had proven its worth. Kale pulsed again, softer this time, as if content. Lina looked around at the exhausted but triumphant volunteers and civilians. She felt hope, a hope that came from understanding the true potential of humanity. Humans were more than survivors; they were thinkers, problem solvers, and heroes capable of extraordinary deeds. The bond between Lina and Kale had deepened during the crisis. No longer were they simply companion and human. They were partners, connected through trust, respect, and shared purpose. Kale had chosen humanity, and humanity, in return, had risen to the challenge. As dawn approached, Lina stood on the plateau, looking out over the desert. The stars were still visible in the fading night, a reminder of the vast universe and the countless worlds watching. Lina knew that Earth had earned a place among the stars not through conquest, but through courage, intelligence, and heart. Kale hovered beside her, its glow mingling with the first light of sunrise. Lina felt a renewed sense of determination. The challenges ahead would be greater, but humanity had shown its worth. Together with Kale, they would face whatever came from the cosmos. And somewhere among the stars, observers, whether alien or distant humans, were witnessing Earth's moment. They saw ingenuity, bravery, and collaboration. They saw that humans were capable of greatness. Lina smiled quietly. The test of humanity was far from over, but for the first time, she felt confident. Humanity would rise. The desert was quiet again, but the world had changed. A new chapter had begun, one in which humans would step into their potential, guided by courage, creativity, and the bond with an extraordinary companion from the stars. Lina took a deep breath, feeling Kale's energy intertwine with hers. Together, They were ready. Together, they would face the final challenges and show the universe the true spirit of humanity. The dawn broke slowly over Earth, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Lena Carter stood on the edge of the desert plateau, Kale hovering beside her. After the first encounter with the alien fleet, the world had breathed a collective sigh of relief, but the threat was far from over. Reports from satellites showed that the remaining alien ships were regrouping, moving in patterns that suggested a second, more calculated attack. Lena knew this would be the ultimate test. Humanity had survived through ingenuity and courage once, but now the stakes were higher. She turned to Kale, whose glow had intensified, signaling readiness. Together, they would lead humanity in defending Earth, not as soldiers under orders, but as a united force capable of thinking, creating, and acting. "We need everyone to work together," Lena said, her voice steady despite the tension. "Cities, towns, volunteers, engineers, scientists, everyone. This is humanity's chance to prove itself to the universe." Kale pulsed warmly, and Lena felt the reassurance of their bond. The next days were a whirlwind of preparation. Lena and her team of engineers worked alongside Kale to establish defensive networks across major cities. Kale could generate energy shields and manipulate technology, but Lena's genius was in connecting humans to these capabilities. They set up communication hubs, coordinated evacuation routes, and trained volunteers to deploy decoys and energy disruptors. What made this defense different from any human military strategy was creativity. Lena encouraged unconventional thinking. Teams in different regions came up with their own strategies, improvising in ways Kale could not predict. Alien scouts, advanced as they were, struggled to adapt to the unpredictability of human planning. Every decision, every invention, reflected the spirit of humanity, brave, clever, and free. Finally, the alien fleet entered Earth's orbit again, larger and more intimidating than before. The sky shimmered with the reflection of countless ships, their surfaces gleaming like polished steel. Lena felt a shiver of fear, but she refused to let it paralyze her. Fear was natural, but courage meant acting despite it. Kale extended its arms, and energy fields spread across the plateau. Lena activated the communication network, and humans across the world followed their plans with precision. Cities became labyrinths of clever defenses, and the aliens encountered resistance they could not anticipate. Lena watched as decoy cities, energy pulses, and Kale's shields confused the alien fleet. "This is it," Lena whispered. "Time to show them who we are." The aliens focused on the planet's major centers, expecting easy dominance. But Lena's strategy relied on collaboration. Volunteers directed energy pulses, engineers disrupted weapon systems, and Kale used precise energy waves to disable enemy ships without harming them. Lena realized that victory did not depend on raw power. It depended on human qualities the universe could not ignore: ingenuity, courage, and empathy. As the battle intensified, one massive warship targeted the capital city. Lena's heart pounded. Millions of lives were at stake. She knew Kale could stop the ship alone, but the point was to show that humanity could rise. She coordinated with local teams, guiding humans to activate complex decoy patterns and interference devices. Kale's energy shield surrounded the city, absorbing attacks while Lena's network of humans executed the plan flawlessly. The warship faltered. Its systems could not adapt to the unpredictable human strategies combined with Kale's precision. It fired randomly, hitting decoys and empty structures, while humans and Kale protected lives and minimized destruction. Lena watched in awe as ordinary people, engineers, volunteers, even children contributing in small ways worked together to outthink an advanced alien intelligence. This is what Kale saw in us," Lena said, her voice trembling. "Courage, creativity, heart." Kale pulsed in agreement, a wave of warmth passing through her. It was as if the alien was saying, "Yes, this is why you were chosen." Hours passed, and the battle reached its climax. The alien fleet, frustrated by their inability to dominate, concentrated their remaining forces on the plateau, where Lena and Kale were stationed. Lena realized this would be the decisive moment. She needed a plan that combined human ingenuity with Kale's power to end the threat without mass destruction. Kale, we have to lure them away from the cities, she said. Kale extended its hands, sending energy waves that created a shimmering pathway across the desert. Lena's team set up a series of interference devices along this path. The aliens, thinking it was a trap of force, pursued. Lena guided the human-controlled systems to activate sequentially, creating obstacles, misdirections, and energy pulses that disabled alien weapons and propulsion systems. The aliens struggled to maintain formation, and one by one, their ships were forced to retreat. Lena's heart leapt with hope. Humanity's strategy was working. It was not the strength of Kale alone, nor the raw numbers of humans. It was the combination of intelligence, creativity, and courage that turned the tide. At the final moment, the largest alien ship, the one that had struck fear into the hearts of Earth's defenders, was lured into a safe, empty canyon. Kale focused its energy, creating a glowing barrier that contained the ship without harming it. Lena activated the final sequence of human-devised devices, temporarily disabling the ship's systems and forcing it to retreat. Silence followed. The skies cleared, and the remaining alien ships withdrew, leaving Earth intact. Lena sank to her knees, overwhelmed with relief. Around her, humans cheered, their faces shining with pride and triumph. The world had survived not because of violence, but because of intelligence, teamwork, and bravery. Kale hovered beside Lena, its glow softer now, like a gentle embrace. Lena reached out and touched it. A wave of understanding passed between them. The alien companion had witnessed humanity rise to its potential, proving that humans were capable of greatness, not through domination, but through creativity, courage, and moral strength. "You did it," Kale whispered in Lena's mind. She realized that Earth's victory was more than survival. It was a declaration that humans were strong in ways the universe respected. In the following days, humanity began to rebuild and recover. The aliens had left, but their presence had left an indelible mark. People spoke of the courage, ingenuity, and heart that had saved their world. Lena worked with teams across the globe, sharing strategies, technology insights, and lessons learned. Kale continued to guide, not as a ruler, but as a mentor and companion, ensuring that humans would continue to grow in knowledge and understanding. Finally, the moment came for Kale to leave. Lena stood on a cliff overlooking the desert, Kale hovering beside her, glowing softly in the early morning light. "I will return," Kale said in her mind. "But only if humanity continues to grow, to protect, and to rise to challenges." Lena nodded, understanding the weight of the promise. Kale's departure would be a farewell, but also a reminder that Earth had a role in the wider universe. With a final flash of blue light, Kale ascended into the sky, disappearing among the stars. Lena watched until the glow faded completely, feeling both loss and hope. Humanity had survived, and it had earned a place of respect among the stars. She turned back to the desert, to the volunteers and teams who had made it possible. "This is just the beginning," she said aloud. "We have shown the universe what we can do. Now, we must continue to grow, to explore, and to protect each other. Together, we are unstoppable." People nodded, smiling. And for the first time, Lena saw a world united not by fear, but by courage, creativity, and heart. She realized that the real victory was not just survival. It was the awakening of humanity's true potential. At night, Lena looked up at the sky, the stars shining like distant guardians. Somewhere, Kale watched from afar, a silent witness to the triumph of humans. Lena felt a swell of pride. Earth was safe. Humanity had proven itself, and in the heart of every person, there burned a new determination to rise, to explore, and to shine among the stars. The world had changed. Humanity had shown that intelligence, courage, and compassion could overcome even the most advanced threats. And as Lena stood under the endless sky, she knew one thing for certain. The stars had chosen to notice Earth, and humanity would never let that trust go unfulfilled. The adventure was over for now. But a new journey was just beginning. Lena smiled, feeling Kale's presence in memory, and the courage of all humans who had stood together. They were ready for whatever came next, united under the stars, proud of what they were, and certain of what they could become. Earth was defended, humanity had risen, and the universe would never forget it.